Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Michael Ayala. Just days ahead of Amber Heard taking the stand in her defamation trial against ex-husband Johnny Depp, Heard fired her crisis PR team and hired a new one. Now, her new PR team is headed by the man seen here escorting Heard into court this morning. David Shane, the president and CEO of Shane Communications, is now handling all of Heard's PR and media strategy. And it is our Court TV close-up. Now, to talk about this, joining us, a very special guest, crisis management and litigation support PR expert and president of Reputation Doctor, Mike Paul. Mike, thank you so much for being with me this evening. Truly appreciate it.
Glad to be back, buddy.
All right, here we go. First and foremost, it might have been a surprise to a lot of people, Mike, that there are PR folks involved in this type of litigation. These are high-profile folks, so it's not that surprising. But what is the role of the PR firm, the crisis firm, in a case like this?
Well, what it's supposed to be is supposed to be leading with a sub-expertise of crisis PR called litigation support PR. And litigation support PR seeks to influence and build trust by a narrative that you put together in cooperation with the law firm, that's key, to best help your client both in the court of law and in the court of public opinion. That's the goal.
Now, in the court of public opinion, this is probably more so very important in a case like this, where you have folks who are high profile. So what are the types of changes that we can expect to see now that she has some new folks involved?
Quite frankly, I'm not so sure. I think that she believes that she had a crisis PR firm before. I believe that she has a crisis PR firm now. I've done a little bit of due diligence on both firms. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of experience specifically in the need that is needed here, which is to have worked on high-profile Hollywood entertainment type cases focused specifically on litigation support PR. Let me give you an example. Your correspondent just said that David walked into the courthouse. David is the new PR specialist whose firm is handling Amber Heard's case with sneakers on. Sneakers. You're now in the eye of the camera yourself. The change is the other firm didn't get it and you get it. You're walking around with white sneakers as the firm. You work for me, you'd be fired. You respect the court, you respect the judge, you respect the process by wearing shoes, for God's sake. And you don't even go without a collared shirt, you wear a tie. Your client's wearing a tie on the opposing side and the attorneys are wearing ties. You should be melding in, fitting into the process like a professional.
You know, that makes a lot of sense.
Maybe I'm being too strict for some people, but that's important.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because that's something that jumped out at me as well when I saw him. And I get it, you know, when you're connected with Hollywood and Hollywood type folks, there's a little bit of a different fashion approach. But I have to agree with you. I think if you're in this particular position, even though you are around Hollywood type folks, I think you want to present certainly a certain outward appearance for the court. And
you're not in Hollywood.
Respect the court.
You're not in Hollywood. You're in Virginia. You're in a courthouse. You and I have seen many a judge dressed down professionals, including attorneys, when they don't abide by the rule. He doesn't want that to happen to him. He doesn't want to be the center of attention. He wants to be helping his client best in the court of public opinion and the court of law by having a narrative that builds the ultimate currency, which is trust. That's why he's there.
Now, Mike, at the end of the day, what types of things might you be doing? So you look at a case like this and you say, okay, we need to get some positive press, obviously. So would you be looking to get her stories placed in different places? What types of stories might you be trying to get out there? How would you approach this from a practical standpoint?
Well, one of the things that I've seen that has not been done well, and I think Johnny's side is certainly so, but her side isn't, is you have to recap the day. When reporters don't have the time to sit for hours upon hours of testimony like you and I, when we're covering these cases or we're commentating on these cases, summarize for me what you believe your client did that was most helpful to her. Every single day you should have bullet point summaries that you're handing out to all the key reporters, not just in the United States, but around the world, because you're leading off of Johnny's reputation, not just your own, and make sure that you have concise, factual, trustworthy bullet points that people would say, oh, I didn't think of it that way. That's a good point. She did hit him with a couple of positives today. Might not have been all positive, but he might be summarizing your points in a very concise and layman-like way, not filled with legalese, so that the average reporter can report it that day. Remember, we don't wait until the end of the day anymore. Social media is media today. Within seconds, it has to be up. And you got to beat the other team to the punch with the most trustworthy and fact-filled pieces of information that you hope they can't tear apart with those.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's interesting about this choice to make a change this far into the trial? Just the fact that she's made a change, Mike, seems to have had a negative effect, an even further negative effect on her reputation. Let me give you an example here. We got this reaction from Twitter. It says, she's so overly concerned about her image, like Curry said. She has, and that's the Dr. Curry, who was the expert for the Depp camp. She has no control over how bad the narrative truth makes her look. But instead of taking accountability, she blames others for her bad image and hires a new magician to try and fix it. So, Mike, how do you deal with that? Just the fact that she's gone in and made this change is actually having a negative effect on her.
It'd be the first thing, if I was pulled in, that I would make sure she understands that she has 3 mistakes that she's made in doing so now. Number one, you have a target on your back because you appear to be angry. You appear to be not satisfied with what your team overall is doing. It might even reflect poorly on your legal team and not just a PR team, and that you believe that you're losing. That's the perception that people have when you make a change like this. But then when you make the change, the question is, what do you expect to happen now? Do you change as a human being? Does your behavior of past change? Does the evidence change? Or are you just looking for a better spin? Spin is a 4-letter word. It's not supposed to be utilized in these types of situations. You're supposed to be relying on facts. You're supposed to be relying on evidence. And hopefully you have some within the next week or so that we're going to see that's going to come out that's going to help your case.
All right. Well, Mike Paul, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Truly appreciate that wonderful information. We'll have you on again real soon, I am sure. Have a great evening.
Glad to help, Mike. Anytime.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it.